All right, listen, I love this. I love this value. This value is so important to me. Let's take a look at Luke 1:11. It says this was when the disciples had come to Jesus. They see him do a lot of things, and they asked him, they say, teach us how to pray. And so obviously they've seen something in the Lord's life that was a direct result of prayer. And so they thought it important enough to ask Jesus, teach us how to pray. So this is cool. So here we have a group of men that are following Jesus. They're seeing a lot of things he's doing. And the one thing they ask is, teach us how to pray. And so I want to pause right here and think, if these disciples who walked with Jesus, they did all these things, they saw him do these things, they're hanging out with the God-man. And if they don't feel like they know how to effectively pray, if they feel like they don't know how to effectively pray, what about our students? I don't know about you, but I haven't spent the time with my students like Jesus has spent with his disciples, eating with them all the time, going from village to village and place to place and doing all these things. I haven't spent that kind of time with my students. So 9 times out of 10, if the disciples walk with the God-man and they didn't know how to pray, it's probably okay to say that our students don't know how to pray. So we have to make sure we have an intentional effort to make sure that we teach our students how to pray. So I know when we think of prayer, we're thinking, man, they should just get it. They should just know. You know, my kids don't pray. What's going on? And so it's important that we teach them how to pray. You're like, how do you teach someone how to pray? Well, the Lord had a method. And we see this, and he says, you know, when you pray, pray in this manner. And so he begins to speak about this template of how to pray. A lot of prayers in the New Testament were prayers for the lost. Those are like the most important. So we need to let our prayers be the same way. We need to intercede. The word intercede, it comes from 2 Latin words. Enter, which means between, seed means to go. So when we intercede, we're literally going in between of situations, and we're talking to God about people before we talk to people about God. So we're going to intercede. We're going to go in between on behalf of God and man to intercede on their behalf. The best way to create evangelistic momentum when it comes to prayer is to pray for your people and to get your people to pray for their lost friends. So we got to start with our people first. We have to start with praying for the people that God has called us to be stewards over. We have to pray for them. And then once we begin to pray for them, we now need to empower them to begin to pray for their lost friends. This type of prayer transforms us, our teenagers, everyday situations. It begins to put things on the radar. So I used to have this Kia minivan. And when I had this Kia minivan, I saw Kia minivans all over the place, right? So Kia Sedanos all over the place, all different colors, flavors, all kinds. Until somebody ran into me, and then I had to get another Kia minivan. I like the Kia minivans. Then my engine started going bad, so I said, you know what, I need to get another car before my engine goes completely kaput. So my father-in-law, he looked in the shopper, and he found this Dodge Stratus. And so we got this Dodge Stratus, and so I'm driving this Dodge Stratus. Guess what I started seeing all over the place? I started seeing Dodge Stratuses all over the stinking place. I've never seen them before. As soon as I bought the car, I started seeing them all over the place. And prayer is just like that. When we buy into prayer for lost people, for the people in our ministry, we begin to see them. We begin to see brokenhearted people all over the place as we begin to pray for them. I feel like the reason why the church is prayerless and why our students have a case of prayerlessness, and even ministers pray less, is because they haven't bought into the Dodge Stratus moments of prayer. As we begin to pray for lost people, we begin to see them all over the place, and our heart begins to break. As our heart begins to break, compassion and empathy rises up, and we begin to pray more. And it's just reciprocal. So it's important that we have Dodge Stratus moments. Teach your students how to pray. And so this is how we're going to do this. We're going to look at the method of the Lord's Prayer.